Shri Prem Kumar, Dr. P. Muthukumar, and Dr. Rakhi Chaturvedi. Please give them a big round of applause. Thank you. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce the distinguished panelists for the panel discussion today. Today among us, we have Dr. Ghanshyam Das Dhanuka. Dr. Ghanshyam Das Dhanuka is an industrialist from Guwahati, Assam, and managing director of GR Dhanuka Group. He is leading multiple ventures in pharmaceuticals, hospitality, green energy, real estate, infrastructure development, oil and food sector. He is also the chapter chair of the Young Presidents Organization YPO, Northeast India. Next we have Shri Uma Maheshwar. Shri Uma Maheshwar is a chief consulting engineer at GE Aviation India engineering team and has several years of experience in setting up and leading large organizations in research and technology, advanced design, engineering, manufacturing, and digital domains. Then we have Shri Prem Kumar. Shri Prem Kumar is the founder and chief innovator at Marut Dronetech Limited. He has provided drone-related technology to some of the prominent sectors like medical, defense, agriculture, etc. He is also a proud alumnus of IIT Guwahati. Finally, we have Dr. P. Muthukumar. Dr. P. Muthukumar is a professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at IIT Tirupati. Currently, he is involved in the project design and development of biogas-driven hybrid solar dryer for northeastern climatic conditions. He is also involved in the project development of porous radiant burner for northeastern states. He has also received numerous national and international awards, including Abdul Kalam Technology Innovation National Award. He was also with IIT Guwahati for several years before moving to IIT Tirupati. Please give him a big round of applause. The panel discussion will be moderated by Dr. Rakhi Chaturvedi. She is the professor and head of Department of Biosciences and Bioengineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati. Please give her a big round of applause. Now, I'd like to hand over the session to Moderator Madam to carry it ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Am I audible? Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much, Himraj Gogoi, for introducing the panelists. Before we begin the session, let me welcome each and every one of you, and particularly the youth who have joined this panel discussion and panel session from the different part of the country and from the globe, entire world. It's a very forthcoming and very enriching session that where the youths are present here and to this single forum. It's not only the proud for the country and for the state, but it's a proudful moment for the world that youth are talking about the theme, the industry 4.0 and the 21st century skill, and which is very much needed, such kind of discussions, the debate in the current scenario and the context, where the world is moving and changing very fast. So before we begin with the panel the members' opening remark, just I wanted to convey about the overall theme of this panel discussion. As you know, according to the 2020 Global Youth Development Index, the conditions of the young people have improved around the world more than 3% between 2010 and 2018. But the progress is little slow, is not as expected, but the COVID-19 has also reversed this growth. The latest industrial revolution differs from previous ones because now the artificial intelligence, robotics, the big data rule the organized sectors effortlessly. And the demand for a future Indian and global workforce are transforming instantaneously. The world is also becoming increasingly technologically independent and dependent, in fact, technologically dependent, and remarkably, globally interconnected. So since the world is, the requirement and is changing so fast, and it requires the interconnection from the different part of the expertise which is existing in the globe, and this is the right forum where the people, the youngsters have gathered here. And it would be an eye-opening and visionary for the school children, who are, some of them are sitting on the back side here, and some are there in between the crowd, the audience as well. And it would be a very eye-opening session for them to think from now onwards how to come up as an industrial person, or maybe this, to begin with a startup, or as a young entrepreneur. To begin with this session, I would request the panelist, Professor Muthukumar. As you know, he is the professor from IIT Tirupati, but before moving to Tirupati, he served quite a good number of years to IIT Guwahati as well. And he is actually a mechanical engineer, and I request him to give the opening remark for this. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I extend my warm welcome to all for this great event. So most of you are aware about the Industry 4.0. So basically it focuses on digital transformation of the manufacturing and production industry, and also the complete digital transformation of the supply chain management, including the starting from the supply of raw materials and the supply of the associated components at various stages, until the supply of the finished product to the consumer. So therefore, to have the complete digital transformation, so we need to have the close coordination at various stages and from the various sectors. So this can be done, through the, you can say, the Internet of Things, and then the artificial intelligence, and as well as the automation. And also the Industry 4.0, it's focusing on producing the product in global mass level, and so that again, with the complete digitalization of the supply chain management, you can reduce the wastage of raw material and production delay, and also you can optimize the inventory, and you can do all these things. By doing all these things, you can expect the overall production cost to be reduced to a larger extent. And some of you may think that the automation and going to the the Industry 4.0 may reduce the conventional manpower, the manforce. Yes, it is true. Definitely, it will cut down the expensive manpower. But the Industry 4.0, it's mainly focusing on producing everything in the global the mass production. So when you produce all the quantities in the mass production stage, so it will open up the huge employment in the many sectors. So therefore, in overall, if you see the employment, this is going to be increased by a larger extent. So there won't be any fear about this, this Industry 4.0. So to the major developing nations such as Germany and France, even US, and already they made the initiative in establishing the Industry 4.0. Efforts are being taken. And coming to the Indian scenario, we are, of course, have huge IT expertise pool, and also we are of course, the world leader in exporting IT solutions. So Government of India already, of course, they made several successful digitalization schemes, including the digitalization of the major public projects, and the digitalization of the payment gateways, and this Jan Dhan Yojana, Aadhaar, and direct credit transfer. The many such things have been successfully, of course, implemented. So we are in the way. So recently, that is in December 2021, our government has made a huge incentive, roughly about $10 billion, mainly for establishing the semiconductor industry in India. So this is a huge kind of this one. So far, we import almost 100% of our requirement from other countries. As a result, because of the shortage in breakage in the supply chain management, many of the industry got affected. So maybe in a year, maybe in next 3 years from now, so you can see India will be the leading exporter of semiconductor device to the other globe. and we are going to, of course, have a huge manpower requirement in this area. Yes, already we trained nearly about 60,000 manpower in catering the various needs of semiconductor industry, and again we are going to add up another 20 to 30K, you can say the expertise, the manpower in this industry in the upcoming years. And again, our curriculum, we also made a lot of effort in revising the curriculum, particularly in the engineering and the technical curriculum towards the need of Industry 4.0. There are several such courses. For example, you can say the artificial AI and smart manufacturing, robotics, and even the data analytics. Many such courses have been, of course, started in the last 1.5 years. Maybe in the next 3 to 4 years, we are going to have the huge, you can say the talents in this area. So definitely all this, the manpower will be getting the huge opportunities in the upcoming years. So in addition to that, to sensitize the importance of Industry 4.0, we also, of course, set up the several initiatives such as the Center for Industry 4.0, and then the Center for, you can say, the Smart Advanced Manufacturing and Rapid Transformation Hubs through the Ministry of through the Department of Heavy Industry and all these things. All these the initiatives will provide and sensitize the importance of Industry 4.0, and also provide adequate training to the manpower by establishing the demonstration hub across the India. So the big players, for example, the Tata groups, even these Vedanta groups, already they have shown and taken initiative in establishing the semiconductor industry in India through their joint venture. This is going to come. So I am sure that maybe in the next, in the upcoming maybe next 2 to 3 years, we are going to be the leading, you can say, the exporter of semiconductor industry in semiconductors, to the other countries. So therefore, the India's vision to achieve about 5 trillion economy by 2025 will be, of course, accomplished through this, this Industry 4.0, and as well as the rapid, growth in the semiconductor industry. So to have the Industry 4.0, I mean, to achieve this, the concept of Industry 4.0, we need to have uninterrupted, you can say, the clean power. That is more important. So to inline with now our country is promoting and also making huge investment on on generating power from the renewables, and right now we have nearly about 40% of share, more than 40% of share from the renewables. It is going to increase by about 50% maybe in about couple of years. So when you transform your energy sector from the non-conventional source to, I mean, the fossil fuel based energy source to the renewable source, so you need to have the infrastructure for energy storage. As you know, renewables are not available throughout the day. Again, it is a seasonal basics. So therefore, the storage is the major, key challenge. So recently, again, our government has announced about 17,000 crore, the funding for developing the hydrogen infrastructure. So through this, we are going to set up the huge hydrogen production center at the different parts of the world, and then creating the other hydrogen infrastructure, and which can be, of course, used by both industry as well as the transport sector. So in this sector also, again, the huge opportunities going to come for all the young peoples. And again, we are also, taken the major initiatives in establishing the, establishing the R&D efforts in the energy materials, energy storage, and several such programs are already been, of course, announced. And so this is about the, this one. Again, we are also doing lot of initiative, and we are promoting lot of startups in the battery industries and thermal management issues in the batteries industries. So coming to the students, the student level and particularly the young people, we have several programs for, for the initiating the entrepreneurship at the students level. So through the Department of Science and Technology, we have the New Generation Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development Center. These centers can be established in any one of these institutes, and through these centers, we, of course, support the innovatives and new ideas, to take into the product and any other useful things. So there are schemes, and the students can get up to about 2.5 lakhs as a seed money for coming up with the novel product. And there are schemes from the DST, and through the prisms they have funding in different spaces. For example, in phase 1, if you have any innovative the novel ideas, and you can convert them into the product, so you will get about 20-25 lakhs. And once if you make the successful product, then if you want to take it up to the commercial scale through the entrepreneurship, so you will get funding up to about 50 lakhs. These schemes are available, and many of our students are already already benefited through these schemes, and all you guys can explore it. And again, there are schemes like through the BIORAC. Again, we have the several such schemes for funding the students, and even through the startups, we have a separate division on startups India. And so if you have kind of ideas and the innovative, this one means you can also apply funding through the startups, where you will get the funding up to about 50 lakhs. This is the subsidy, plus you will also get huge money, as the industry loan, and for the next 4 to 5 years, and you will get the, of course, you don't need to worry about the income tax submission. So many such opportunities are available, through the startups. And as part of the, you can say, the new education policy, every institute, particularly the technical and engineering institute, need to start the innovation and entrepreneurship shift. This is the mandatory. I think many of you are aware about it. If you have any kind of ideas, innovative ideas, or if you want to develop any product, forget about the product, even the solution, business models, which can be, done through this so-called the entrepreneurship cells, where you are expected to get the seed funding from your institute. This is the mandate, and through which the government is organizing the regular seminars. Almost every month you can see the seminars, and where the experts or the successful, you can say, the startup person can share their experience, and they will also provide. Yeah, it's done. I'm done. So, so there are many opportunities are there. Government, government and industry cannot provide, job opportunity to everyone. So instead of job seeker, so you should be a creator. So particularly for the scholars and all these, higher study students, don't of course restrict your research only in publishing the papers and the manuscript, because after a few years, I don't think you are not going to read your own manuscript. So therefore, you try to come out with your project and your research in developing some kind of innovative solution and all these things.
We will stopping for
fine.
the moment for you.
So thank you. So this is my submission, and I can of course come back to you later.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry for interrupting, but definitely we'll come back to you again, and during the question answer session, some relevant question might be there from your expertise. Just to let the participants and the delegates and the audience here that the format is the same what we have in the panel 1. The opening remark will be there, so that you will get to know what their expertise is, and then following this, the 30 minutes will be dedicated for the question answer sessions, where you can have a relevant question from the panelists where they are. And with this, I am moving to the next panelist, Dr. Ghanshyam Dhanuka, to say the opening remarks. Yeah.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to awesome Assam, the land of Ma Kamakhya. Over the years, Thank you. Over the years, there has been tremendous efforts by Government of India and Government of Assam to improve the facilities and upskill the quality human resources to be suitable for high-end research, engineering, and translation. And emphasis towards this end has been the implementation of the 4th Industrial Revolution, or Industry 4.0, that conceives rapid change to technology, industries, and processes in the 21st century due to increasing interconnectivity and smart automation. So it is important for academia today to update its curriculum to cater to the emerging trends and needs of industry. In the current era of digitization, there is an urgent need for upskilling and capacity building of the current and future manpower in the fields that include, but not limited to, cybersecurity and data management. This calls for development of soft skills for effective collaboration that would help to bridge the gap between industry and academic, so that the challenges that arise due to technology could be addressed. For the same, our state Assam is coming up with a world-class skill development university to skill the youth for future. I believe that educational institutes should train the students in the new age skills worthy of industry employment. By implementing strategic shifts to focus on hands-on skills and technology learning, by upgrading the infrastructure in institutes, by promoting academia and industry linkages to identify and upgrade the curriculum, by quality improvement programs for faculty, by introducing early digital learning in students, and by making internships in industry mandatory. This would not only facilitate the ability of the future workforce to expand their skill sets, but would also help in the overall growth of the institute and would result in enhanced student placement, improved university ranking, improvement of faculty research and innovation opportunities, and expansion of academic streams into new areas with industry participation. So, from an industry point of view, there would be industry-ready talent pool available. Also, there would be an overall improvement in deployment-ready productive employees. To conclude, industry and academia collaboration should be the primary focus in fostering Industry 4.0 skill and innovation. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ghanshyam. We are moving to the next panelist, Mr. D. Uma Maheshwar, to say something about this opening remark.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I said good afternoon.
Yeah.
I think we have a few more hours for lunch, and I think we still have a lot of energy in us. So I just want to ask, since I see a lot of young members in this conference, how many of you are having this question mark on your face that what happens to the jobs? I know the young lady there asked this question, but how many of you are wondering, what is the future? What would happen to me and the society and the people at large? Can you please raise? Majority. Great. That makes this discussion really interesting. So since I come from aerospace industry, there's a buzzword, and anybody who knows about this, please raise the hand. It's called CAVU, C-A-V-U. Anybody knows about it? Okay, in simple words, it's ceiling and visibility unlimited. When you want to take a flight, you want to make sure that you can see the distance and you don't have any ceiling restrictions, so that you have a safer flight. So it's around 10 miles and 10,000 feet. But just reverse these letters. KAVU has become VUCA. Volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous, and that's the word that we are living in. I know that we are all talking about Industry 4.0, and we have just started our journey, just 10 years approximately. But if you really look at, this is just the beginning, and there's already a discussion of Industry 5.0, by the way. Okay? So the point I'm making is, today's normal is to live in disruption, not just to survive. I think we are all discussing, how do I survive? Let's change the context. Let's think of how do we prosper in disruption, not just survive. Because, and I just want to give you, my perspectives in 3 aspects. We will unfold a little bit about this whole Industry 4.0, not too much in detail, but just to take away and have some real understanding of what it really means to us, and then talk about the present, and then I want to share 3 solutions to prosper in the Industry 4.0. Okay? So if you look at the previous industrial revolutions, no wonder every revolution has actually displaced not just the skills, but the industries and the countries. The countries who emerged as the most powerful were the countries who really were the thought leaders, right? So the real message here is that if we have to prosper, we have to be the thought leaders. And it created new economies, new countries, whether it is US, UK, Japan. Every industrial revolution shows that there were certain set of countries and the industries, and behind those there are some individuals or thought leaders who really paved that way. And the same thing applies to Industry 4.0, although it's very, very complex. And there is no choice for us. We have to really understand, then take it forward. And although we may have a lot of pessimism and negativity, but let's face it, every industrial revolution made the quality of life better. Think about human beings spending so much of mechanical work and becoming sick. So at the end of the day, it's a good thing for the humanity. Now the question is, how do we take it forward? Okay, but the first thing is we must recognize that it is a good thing for us, although there is going to be a disruption. If you are not prepared, it can cause a lot of turmoil and very unpleasant experiences. Now, the present world, if you look at, I want to give an example of aerospace industry which I came from. How it is really changing the whole world. It's the same thing which is applied to every industry. I think you see a common theme because of Industry 4.0 and the digital technologies, something called democratization. Democratization of everything, which means every one of us, irrespective of where we belong in the planet Earth, we would have a fair opportunity. This is something that human beings could never ever achieve. There used to be always supremacy and domination of people, countries, etc., etc. Now we are going to really enable this through Industry 4.0. It's a great theme, great thing. For example, aerospace. It was always dominated by few countries, few companies. You can just count those companies who have dominated for over 120 years of invention of the flight. Today you look at it, in just last 20 years, the aerospace industry in India, for example, you have private companies, engineering colleges who made small satellites and sent it successfully, right? There are many companies who are thinking of actually making space travel affordable. Things that we never ever could imagine. If you look at drones, I know my friend here is going to talk about his own story, being a student and starting his own venture and really serving agriculture and many industries. Who would have ever thought that we can democratize flight, right? There are hundreds of startups which are actually paving this, what I call as democratization of aerospace industry and flight. And the same thing is applicable to other industries. Take example of healthcare. We are going to have democratization of healthcare industry, meaning we would have a lot more control on how we would live, and hence the healthy life that we want to live. Again, all these would be paved by the Industry 4.0, and then the automobile industry along, around electrification. So the point I'm saying is, it's a real thing. It's really changing the game. It's at the start. If I talk about, let's talk about 3D printing, which is one of the 9 technologies. It may look like printing. I saw the video, just printing some parts. It's really not that. It is actually disruption of the entire economy. Many countries, and not to name few, but there are countries who have specialized in manufacturing, and the entire growth story of that country would depend on manufacturing. Think about when you print a part, and we are talking about metal parts, real parts. By the way, we printed the first company which made the aerospace engine parts, which are flying beautifully from last 7 years. Who would have thought that we could actually print some metal parts, real parts? And this is a disruption of those nations, the skills. People would have spent billions of dollars in honing those skills, and the industries would have spent on R&D and so many things. It just got disrupted. Think about the disruption to those companies who are in the import and export of raw material and finished goods, because you manufacture certain things in certain countries and globally export. You don't, you see that the entire logistics industry would be disrupted. So the implications are so huge. So we can go on and on, see how every one of these Industry 4.0 technologies can be disruptive and can create new jobs, new skills, and new economies, new industries, and new companies. Okay? So that's the present, that's the world that we are living. And finally, I just want to end, what's the solution? The three mantras for the fourth industrial revolution. In my opinion, it's not just technical skills. It's really that mental state, the mindset, the people who understand it and who can actually become the thought leaders, they would really prosper. And it is applicable to industries and also the countries. What are those three? The first is, irrespective of your background, whether you are a commerce person, arts, engineering, which part of engineering, doesn't really matter. Every one of us must learn digital. Okay? Think about it. It looks very, uncomfortable to some of us, but the world has taught. You go to a vegetable vendor or even a beggar, they have Paytm or Google Pay, right? They have adopted. We have adopted. World is adopting. So first is become digital, learn those skills, and there are so many fascinating examples of how we can apply digital in every field. So please reimagine your work, reimagine your industry, reimagine how your skills could look different when you apply additive. Additive is really the secret sauce, number one. Second, if you look at all the inventions, right, we are, the world and the industries have moved around, you come out with a great invention on a particular thing. But in today, if you just look at US, they filed 250,000 patents in 2020. Just think about it as one country. These are all so many, innovations, but we need to really connect all the dots, all the inventions, and the system of systems, the ability to think of the end solution or the product, not just one piece of it, is really a big thing. So which means multidisciplinary thinking. That's where the cultural diversity, the diversity of thoughts would really enable us to think beyond and get new perspectives. It's not really the technical specialists who can think. So our ability to really connect dots and think at a system level is the most important thing. And then third, I would say this is the third solution, but it is really about third eye. You know about Shiva, the third eye. It's really about, taking a time to reflect, assimilate, and really use your inner power. Okay? It looks very imaginary and spiritual, but I really mean it. It's all about our agility, our ability to really learn fast and become more relevant, more contemporary. And I want to leave this thought. It will put many of us in an uncomfortable situation, and we will probably answer this later. If you are thinking that we would retire at 60 and we will probably live for 100 years, I can tell you, sorry, maybe in India it's 80 years, 70 years. Many of these people who are in 20s, 30s, I can assure you, you will live more than 100 years. And your kids would probably live more than 120 years. So if you are thinking that I would retire, 60 years and then spend 30, 40 years in old age, sorry, the quality of life will become better. The quality of healthcare would become better. And if you are thinking of one skill, one industry, one particular career, it's not going to be enough. Okay, let me answer the solutions later, but hopefully this gives you some perspective on how the industry is moving. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Uma, giving a very broad perspective and thought-provoking for the youth to think about the three ways of the life one can dream of to become the new entrepreneurs. Now we'll move to the next, the panelist. To be very frank, I'm a little biased for him because he's our alumni, and he is actually a gem of among the alumni because we are really feeling very proud, and Mr. Prem Kumar. And what we were talking about, the three panelists before that, and he will give you how you have, because I was closely monitoring him for the last few years, starting from just before the COVID and during the COVID. So he will say something about it and what he is actually into it and what make him to think about it. Mr. Prem, yeah, please.
Is my voice audible?
Yeah.
Can you check? Is it audible now? Yeah. So I was 10 years before sitting the opposite to you and sitting the opposite now here after 10 years coming to IIT Guwahati again, and it's definitely gives a refreshing for me a lot. So like in next half an hour, 1 hour, everybody will have the lunch, right? And everybody wants a good food. But everybody forgets the food which is coming to our plate is coming from where, how it has been cultivated, how it has been actually done. Every person sitting in this room doesn't want to do agriculture, but we are an agriculture dependent country. If you go back last 50, 60 years, the only industry which was known in India was agriculture. And today, if you 2023, if you see still how the agriculture is done in India, not only in Assam, every part of the country, is the way. I just wanted to show a small clip for you. So this is a chili crop. In 120 days of a chili crop, they do 10 times the activity like a spraying. The spraying is must in agriculture for every crop. And you see 90% or 80% goes in the air. And if a sudden wind blows or if something climate change, this is blown to villages, like you know the incidents like in Maharashtra, there was a place called Yavatmal, a wind blown suddenly, more than 3 villages, 4 villages got impacted with the health. And if you see a technology like a drone, what it does for it to the same crop is where you are spraying hundreds of liters, you're doing in less than 10 liters, and when you're taking for 4 to 5 hours, you're doing it in less than 10 minutes. And who's gonna do it? The person who's sitting, and the person who is sitting in this room, each and every one of you are gonna do this technology transformation in India. And this is not, you don't need to do a PhDs or MTechs or BTechs to do this. The transformation which India needs is just you need a 10th pass and being a citizen of this country and learning in less than a week. That's the mandate what it takes. So when it comes, like I talk only 3 things. One is everybody talks about innovation, employment, and sustainability. So when it comes to innovation, you don't need to scratch your head and go to Oxford's or Stanford's or go to any of the big universities in the world to do anything doing innovation in India or doing innovation in your community. It's a basic thing you observe. That's what I did first, is where if you go to any farm, even in Assam, if you go to any of the tea farm, you see a people carrying 20 to 15 kgs, the sprayers, and walking in the fields and doing the activity like a spray, right? And as a human, it's very difficult for people to do even kind of activities. It's uneven. You spray a little more, less, and it's a purely people dependent. And none of the people sitting in the room actually want to do that activity. People want to do technologies which are sitting in before laptop or sitting in more of factories, but nobody actually wants to do anything in the field and in the crops. And everybody wants a good food. And COVID has really brought us to the reality is that what we were eating defines our health and our more of a lifespan of a person. And whatever food you're eating has excess pesticide for sure, is because the farmer who is doing cultivating, he doesn't know where exactly the pest or disease. So if he has a 20 acres or 10 acres, he does entire crop. So now with the technology like the drone and the technology like sensor technologies, you can pinpointly tell where exactly the pest and disease. You can do very specialized, localized kind of intervention to reduce the agrochemical time and the input cost of farmer, and ultimately he has a better yield and better cost, and he will double the income, which every time we listen, like how do we double the income of a farmer? It can only possible by adopting the technology. Doesn't mean you are removing a labor force. you're bringing new set of age group of 25 to 40 years age old to enable agriculture and to agriculture in the country rather than going out of the country and doing other jobs, is what we could see. And when it comes to the employment, is this, you've seen the agriculture, right? So a farmer like pays 500 to 800 to do spray and activity. A drone can do 20 to 30 acres in a day. If you take 20 acres and you charge 500 rupees per acre, and if you just work for 20 days in a month, around 2 lakh rupees has been revenue generated. And if you remove all his expenses, a lakh 10, a lakh 50, you can easily earn 50 to 60,000 rupees just sitting in your village, serving to your own farmers and learning in less than 1 week. Tell me, what is the technology today where you, unless you don't do the PhDs or MTechs, you don't earn 50, 60,000. That's the difference. What is a new technology like a drone technology is bringing to it. So innovation, employment, ultimately everybody is concerned about the climate, sustainability. So what we're going to bring is the water. Like earlier they used to do 100 liters they used to spray, now it's come down to 8 to 10 liters, more than 80% reduction of a water. And you saw the first clip where you saw the chemical going, or the agrochemical, the environment, and there are a lot of parameters. Like during COVID, you have been listening different states, like some other new diseases come, or some other, because this agrochemical where deposition was happening on the water bodies, on the land, different, the thing, there were new diseases we were able to hear and everything. So what I could see is the next set of the technology or next set of the agriculture is done by each and everyone sitting here, because it's very easy and very data driven and very automation, and sitting in your home you can do your cultivation, just you need to adopt and you should do the transformation change. And what we saw the change is because the farmer in 2021, 2022, even 2023, he thinks the technology is for his son who is in US or in Canada, or his grandson who is studying in the school. He never thought the technology which we listen every day in news to the papers gonna help him. So here it comes the drone technology. He has a problem with the pest, because if he doesn't address in 24 hours or 48 hours, it's gonna expand, he's gonna lose the crop. A drone coming in, serving him in less than 24 hours, 48 hours, addressing the problem, and without having the labor issues. The biggest problem is a health hazard, is if you can open your phone and type a cancer train in your phone, you'll understand the reality what is happening. Every person who is in agriculture in post 45s or post 50s are prone to cancer. There is a cancer train every day goes from Punjab to Rajasthan for treatment of a cancer patient. Majority of 80% are the farmers who are direct exposed to this pesticide, chemicals, and sitting in the environment, having food and water in the where they do the cultivation. So that's where what we're trying to bring is the next set of people, the next farming, or every farmer should feel like every time we listen, right, a farmer's son should become a farmer is only through the technology like a drone technology. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prem. Now it's open for the question and answer, but before, on behalf of you, I will ask the question from Prem Kumar, because since you are talking about the farming, which is the main for the country, the agriculture, how you feel, because normally our farmers are used to of conventional or traditional farming, and when you come up with some technology, how they have taken it up, because you are, if I am correct, you are taking up the entire Telangana and the Andhra region, where your drone is quite much popular, not only in the agriculture, but also in the medical and the one more sector, what was that? The defense as well. So how the farmers have taken up your
Ma'am, it's not
device.
just it's audible, right? It's just not the south or one particular state. Now every part of the state is adopting the drone technologies. And what farmer seeing is believing. He just sees in 1 acre how the pest is addressed or the sprays happens and everything. Then immediately within an hour he is just adopting. The technology's adoption is very fast. We think in the office saying that technology will take time in adoption or will take like lot of thing happens. But when you take a drone to a farmer, within 1 hour he understands actually whether it is helping his farm or not. So once we do demonstration in one place, immediately entire village comes to know and it's lined up. And the advantage of this is a very repetitive kind of a work. Like example, only first time you take the boundaries of a field, and like example, paddy needs a 4 times spray or chili needs a 10 times spray, all are, the boundaries are fixed. So it's a very autonomous. You don't cross the field and it's no drift happens, you just keep the coordinates and you have all the sensors, like what you see a Tesla car, obstacle avoidance, all the sensors, right? Similar sensors are there to drone. So you just keep the waypoints, goes to the exact crop, does the activity at same height, consistent, detects the obstacles, trees, poles, and also have a terrain sensors, everything is done. So you need to just be understanding how the software works, and the entire software drives the entire operations. And the majority of the people have seen, example, you take the farms like a sugar cane or a red gram, they're very high crops. So earlier they used to like leave the crop in the edges in the middle to go tractor or people. Now what's happening is you don't need to touch a crop itself, and height is not a constraint. So you see a very rapid kind of the adoption in farming. That's the reason government of India also. COVID has really helped this sector actually, because what it is to take for 10 years, it got done in 3 years. In the last 3 years, what you see. The rules have been simplified, airspace has simplified. Now, how you buy a tractor, you can go and buy a drone, unsecured 10 lakh rupees at 5%, 6% from your bank, nearest bank, and also have subsidies at state level and central level for the technology like a drone, which is because it is impacting the farmers and also creating employment at rural level itself.
Yeah, thank you very much. So the floor is open for the question answer, and I request the participants to be very direct with the question, very short question, so we'll get the right answer as well. And before you say the question, just introduce yourself in few words. Yeah, please.
Hello, my name is Michael and I'm from Indonesia. I was the chair of Y20 Indonesia last year. I'm very fascinated by the drone technology. So my question is, we talk about democratization and how it's relevant for the future of work and industrial revolution. What would it take to have these innovations to be implemented on a global scale? Because Indonesia is also an agricultural society in which we rely a lot for works and jobs from agriculture. So, and I hope that G20 India can also bring those innovations and apply it globally, and that would transform the global south, transform the world. So the question is, how do we bring that innovation on a global scale? Thank you.
So Prem, would you like to answer? Yeah.
Because I'll definitely answer this, because India is known for agriculture, right? Like you imagine like Australia or any of the country, all the agronomists or entomologists are Indians who maintain these crops and cultivate these crops. So now the technology like a drone needs a lot of data sets, like for making the AI to work or need a lot of analytics, right? Whatever the digital transformation gonna happen in agriculture in next 3 to 5 years, gonna be the example to the world to do the cultivation, to drive the cultivation, to change the cultivation and future of farming.
You got the answer? Satisfied. Okay, so the next question from the girls in the white. Can you go? Yeah, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shilpi Sharma. Currently, I am pursuing Masters in Development Studies in Humanity and Social Science at IIT Guwahati. So, I would like to ask question specifically to Sri D. Uma sir. I will break down my question into 2 parts. So, first one is, how is manufacturing industry is adapting new ways of working, especially rule of industry 4.0 in adapting to new flexible norms. And the second question is, what are the measures taken by manufacturing industry to enable its workforce to reskill or upskill to become resilient to face any type of crisis in coming future, as we have emerged from recently emerged from COVID-19? Thank you.
Yeah, Umaji.
Great question. As I said, the manufacturing industry is going through a lot of disruption. One, if you look at all the different technologies within Industry 4.0, we talked about additive technology, which is totally disruptive. You don't need a big factory. You don't need, like, let's say, lathe, drilling machine, milling machine, so much of investment. You just need one machine. And you don't need to import raw material and have very high skill based. You can just give that program to this machine. So it's a digital manufacturing. So that's, you can say, a big disruption. If you really look at the possibilities of printing anything, anywhere in the world, you can design anywhere, you can print anywhere, or manufacture anywhere. It's really, we are in that path. We are just in the early years. One of the challenges, we can't still print all kinds of materials. So we need to invent new materials for the purpose of additive manufacturing. So that's on one end. But if you really look at the factory, if you are in manufacturing industry, one of the biggest challenges that we say is the operations efficiency. You have to keep inventory of so many goods, so many parts, and that's a lot of cost. So the entire supply chain optimization management can be done by artificial intelligence, big data analytics. So there are a lot of these enabling technologies. Then if you really look at the factories, I think we are in this process of automation. Just to look at, for example, Amazon, they have over 200,000 robots, essentially meaning those are basically employees, right? So you can see many industries are actually adopting and becoming more automated. So in summary, there are different industries are having their own path. At the end of the day, it's going to improve the safety. There are a lot of EHS concerns, like, for example, if Prem talked about the safety of the farmers, right? In the same way, in the factory environment, it's very tough. So this automation and the data analytics and all these different technologies are enabling the manufacturing industry to be more safe, agile, and become more productive. To your second question, in terms of skills, we need a lot more. One of the challenges that typically it's becoming, tops down. You see the big industries, GE, Boeing, Ford, these are the companies who are investing a lot of money and then expecting that the small scale industries would ultimately learn because the knowledge transfer would happen. I think we should really think of bottoms up as well. Because we need customized solutions. If you are an MSME or a small industry, small scale industry, how do we adopt some customized solutions around this is something that we need to do. I know some of the institutes like IISc and some of the institutes have labs meant for this, but we just began. So there's a lot more work to be done in the era of small and medium scale industries, and then upskilling, reskilling, unskilling as well.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. In fact, I will add up one, the query. It's a curiosity that you have a wide coverage of the ventures from pharmaceutical, hospitality to the infrastructure. So what have made you to cover up the most of the area into the business? So that would be very interesting for the audience to, you can think broadly to be on the safe side. Yeah.
No, I'm still in the learning. I think, my way of looking at is, we talked about the system of systems, right? It doesn't really mean that, you have to be a specialist. You just have to be passionate and really be what I call as, instead of an engineer in particular specialization, I would love to be called as technologist because I follow technology, and technologies can have multiple implications in different domains.
Thank you very much. In fact, I agree with this because if you look at the Prem Kumar, he doesn't have nowhere connected to the plant. I am the plant biotechnologist, but have have to collaborate with him to have a technology improvisation, which is always a dream for all of us to see the improvisation in the technology in the country. We have to come up in a very big way in the agriculture sector for sure. I will take up some of the questions from the school children are sitting on the back. Is there any question from the school children? No? Okay, I will.
Up.
Is there any? Up? Oh yeah, please.
Namaste. I'm Aditya Ojha. I'm currently pursuing my BTech in Computer Science and Engineering from Johar Engineering College, Assam. My question to all the esteemed panelists in general is that we see innovation or technological advancement is something which is increasing at a rapid rate today. But the same cannot be said in general about digital literacy. So how can we, on a social scale, ensure that the delta or the bridge between innovation and digital illiteracy is narrowed down?
So, yeah, who will take up Umaji or Prasumuthu or Prem? You understood the question?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So about this digitalization, yeah. So yeah, India is of course, we are in a big way. I think most of you are aware about the NPTEL website where you can get the course material for more than 10,000 subjects, spanning from engineering, this science and all these things. It is being there, and also we are also offering several this online platform courses, which is periodically updated. It's not like that we are not doing it. Most of the courses are, the syllabus are framed based on the current energy, current industry requirement. So all these things are happening. Even as per the new education policies, we have introduced several, kind of futures. For example, during the course, students can take a break of about 1 year. He can go to industry, get the training, and he can opt out, and he can choose the discipline. Even he can go across the various disciplines and get the courses. And many things are, of course, happening, and we are adopting. And again, for meeting the industry 4.0 needs, and now this, many institutions and in the universities, in fact, they are offering specialized courses on semiconductor, which is one of the initiative taken by the government. And also, the many courses are now, focusing towards the AI, even robotics, even data analytics. And even in mechanical engineering also, now we recently, of course, we revised the curriculum in mechanical and our core engineering, where the digitalization is coming to the picture. It is mandatory, and not only in engineering stream, even the science stream also, this major impact of digitalization is already incorporated.
Thank you very much, Professor Muthu. The next question from the girl sitting here.
No.
Yeah.
Namaste, greetings to everyone. So since we are talking about innovation, my question is, India is the third largest electronic waste producer in the world. And according to a report, 78% of India's e-waste is not being collected or disposed properly. So how we as a society is going to deal with this e-waste tsunami? How do we gather the skill sets, and how do we improve the infrastructure to deal with this scenario?
Would you like?
Maybe I can answer.
Yeah, it's not directly linked with this. Do you want to take it up?
Partly I can answer.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, the e-waste is a very kind of a serious concern. Now, particularly for the battery, there are many initiatives has been taken for, recovering the lithium from the battery. So many such, the initiatives has been already taken. There are few startups in India. They are trying, they can recover the lithium, and the government is also announced several kind of the project scheme, mainly in focusing on this area. And coming to the other, e-waste management, yes, we have, of course, taken several initiatives, and maybe down the line, maybe in 1 or 2 years, you can see the major impact of this initiative in the real-time pictures.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, maybe someone can add, if you want.
I think yeah. You want to? Yeah.
No, I think the question on sustainability is a real thing. So your specific question was around, the e-waste. We are going to create, Industry 4.0 is actually one of the best solutions to optimize this entire supply chain. So things like, do you really need to buy a battery or a charger or some electronic accessories, something that we should really think about. Maybe there could be different concepts, different business models, and I am sure it would emerge, it would change. But for example, technology has enabled us to automatically charge. You don't need, for example, battery, right? So there's so much going on. I just want to leave one more thing, since a lot of people are working on sustainability. It's slightly derailing a little bit, but I want us to reflect on this thing. Most of the time, we think it's great, I would use some sustainable fuel or something to reduce emissions. Great. That's where the transportation industry, the aerospace industry, or automobile industry is going. That we would use some, electric vehicles or sustainable aviation fuel, biofuels and things like that. But one thing that we must really look at from the entire system, in order to produce those fuels and transport, are we going to actually produce more emissions than actually cut down the emissions? There's so many, many things that we need to really resolve around sustainability. I just want to tell that it's not about just one particular waste, but it's about the complete solution.
I'll just add a line. Like every manufacturer who's providing you the electronics or any of cosmetics or anything, the government has already mandated certain percentage they have to recycle it. Either they have to procure with the means of the kabadiwalas to the existing structured kind of a mechanism, and they'll be going forward as specialized places like recycle parks or for electronic waste and everything. So at present, all the rules and regulations are forming it, already formed on the certain other waste materials, but e-waste, it comes to the battery, to electronic components and everything, gonna more focus in next coming years. So your manufacturer will take care, you don't need to take it. As a user, we have to, we don't separate our wet and dry waste. So, and so I'm saying like, it's a habit we need to cultivate to follow the policies which government generally comes forward, and adoption is needed so that to go to the e-waste.
Yeah, okay, yeah, thank you so much. I will take up two questions if they are diverse questions. Very point, yeah, the red Gomsha.
A very good afternoon to the panelists. To Prem Kumar, to Sir Prem Kumar, when I was a kid, I used to imagine flights replacing the drones in spraying such materials in crop productions. But sir, because we are discussing Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam as well, how will this be implemented at a global level, considering the fact that many countries, like even Egypt, which is a G20 country, has some serious prohibition on drones. So how will we implement it at global level?
So we often listen, technology solves the problem. Like we have seen internet solving a big problem in 90s, and we saw mobile phone solving the problem of communications and in 2000s and everything. When it comes to this era of 21st, era of 2023 to 2030, I see the problems which we are around has to be solved, and the problems are so many. In India, what we do it here, it also solves a problem what happens in Africa, US, or any part of the world. So I can show you a small clip to make you understand the problems which we face every day. Like how many people have faced with the dengue and malaria. Every year we go through it, right? But there is a solution which we have did from India. And we see how many times we see, like when we do plantation, and we see every time in the news, like we need to plant more and everything. But the chunk of the deforestation or forest fire is happening in the reserve forest areas, because where the plantation, doing manual plantation is a challenge. So you need a tech adoption to it. And still in the 2023, we talk a lot on the transportation of the blood. Like a lot of people are losing their life when think of a pregnant woman in the last stage, there's a lot of blood. Transporting from one place to other is a challenge. Think of a person who has bit with a snake bite, he needs in less than 40 minutes, he needs a vaccine, the long-tail medicines to use it. Still, the vaccine, the COVID vaccine itself, you see a lot of images of like carrying from one place on a different modes, with carrying on a ropes to everything. You need a certain way to ease it, right? So I have a small clip for you to visually see that, and that you yourself will answer what we do here is a problem which we are solving to the entire world, and that's the way forward. I think, can you play the video once, the third video?
Shall we take up the video later?
Just to finish.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I will take.
Example problems which we are addressing in India, which are the problems for the entire world. So which has to adopt and which has to, the means is the technology adoption.
So with this, the drone technology, and to a message to you, when you're thinking about the industry, definitely I will take up the closing remark from each panelist. Something in the industry or the startup, it sounds like little challenging, whether to start or not, I will be successful or not, what are the challenges involved. But see, whenever you want to do something good, definitely the challenges are the part of it, and that challenges is actually is translating into the discovery or the invention or the addressing the problem which is existing since long. So it's always saying when in the Air Force that if you want to fly, you dare to leave the earth. And that's what the people have to, youngsters have to think. You cannot, you have to come out of your comfort zone, think little differently. Obviously, the challenges are there and it is to be addressed. There are a lot, and we are thankful, very thankful that not many programs are coming from the government. Against the program, the applications are not much, and there are the financial supports are there. To begin with, you have to start from the small. If you start sorting out the small concerns of the society, and you don't know when you have your industry is set up. So it's in a constant process. One has to think about it, and the youngsters is a lot of hope. So I would, although there are a lot of questions are there since we are running short of the time, but I will ensure you these panelists to be available over the lunch, and you all could be able to ask the question. So I will take up the closing remark from them. What is the message to the youth? From where to start up? Because there's always a concern. Money is involved here, and we don't want to seek from the parents or support, or the governments are there. What is the procedure? From where to first take a step forward? Yeah. We'll start with the Prem.
Yeah, I'll take the example. When I've started solving the problem of dengue malaria, I don't know. Actually, there is a subject like entomology who works on these diseases. And when we were working on the agriculture, then we understood like what we know in doctors like pulmonologist, orthopedic. Then in agriculture, you have an agronomist, entomologist. There are many other streams. So it's just the passion and the perseverance what makes you to solve something. And there are many handholdings. One is the scientific community. When you ask, unless don't you ask, they won't come forward, they won't help you. So it's the first thing is everybody has to learn how to ask, because everything depends upon the ask what you have. Second is there enough kind of thing, like there is a Nidhi Prayas. If you are working anything which is takenable, not takenable, there's a government of METI project where you get a 10 lakh rupees of assistance to to work on the idea to the prototyping stage. So once you, whether product comes or not, secondary for them. They want whatever the idea, what you're thinking. For prototyping assistant, they're giving this 10 lakh rupees. Once you have a little idea and little kind of the MVP stage crossed, there is a called BIRAC, DST. It gives you 50 lakh rupees as a grant for you to build the product, and customer is till the customer goes to customer's place. And once the customer place your product goes, then you have a structured mechanism, like if sector-wise grants are there and lot of investors are there. Today, it's just what you need to come forward and do it, than talking and sitting and thinking that your dad says that I could have supposed done that, I could have happened this. No, this is a stage where your actions will speak, and unless you act, you won't get. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. So yeah, and then some more as MSME is one of this, the TDP is, and there are a lot of programs are there. And the good part is all are available in the web, very transparent is there, and then you have to just go through the browser. In a few seconds only, Umaji, you want to say something in 30 seconds because we are already running short of the time, remind us.
Yeah, just a few seconds. So I think one thing, if, since we are in G20 and we are talking about Vasudhaika Kutumbam, how we can really create a better world and what's the role each one of us can play. I think it should start with us as an individual. So one thing is on Industry 4.0, I would request you to please spend some time, be knowledgeable, have your own journey, your own personal playbook, so to say, so that you become relevant and competitive and also at some point of time thought leader. The second point, the only message I want to give you is, somebody talked about e-waste, right? That's a problem. But if you really look at, there could be some innovation. There are definitely, the world is looking for solutions and there is a business opportunity. So it's a challenge, but there's an opportunity. So I think we should think of solutions and really pursue that through the network, and platforms like this can provide those connections and the context.
And this network begins from now because you have the global representation here, right now here. So over the lunch, you can have a lot of interaction with the delegates from different countries here. And with this, we have to conclude the session for now, but it's not the end, it's the beginning, and we will have the beginning continues from here. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the panelists too.
Thank you, distinguished panelists, for such an insightful panel discussion. Now, I'd like to request the officiating director of IIT Guwahati to felicitate our distinguished panelists with a token of gratitude. Please give him a big round of applause. Now, I'd like to request the Y20 official contingent to head for the lunch to the first hangar on the left of the auditorium. Student delegates from IIT and other colleges of Assam are requested to head for the lunch in the second hangar adjacent to the first one. Everyone is requested to please be present here by 2 p.m. sharp for the next panel discussion. Thank you so much.